Mark off of Team Pacemaker here, the biggest and best looking YouTuber in the whole of this bit of the yard, apart from the guy in the corner with the lazy eye and the dodgy teeth, who's doing the Vauxhall Viva restorations. Obviously, apart from him. Anyway, I digress. We are in a bit of a pickle here, lads.
And lasses.
Because we have only got 2.5 weeks to completely rebuild this engine and put everything back together to get me 1,000 miles to the Scottish Euro and back. So this is like the next day from the end of the last episode. So it's only one day for me, but for you, it's probably about 8 months. You wouldn't let it lie, would you?
I would have let it lie.
You wouldn't let it lie. Anyway, so it's less than 2.5 weeks because I wanted to get it down to Diablo Moto L's to get dynoed before I go to Scotland and get it all set up properly. So we probably need to stop talking and just fucking get on with it. Right, because there's so little time here, lads. And lasses. We have to make up some sort of plan of action, some sort of focus, some sort of way forward, because it's just chaos here. So you probably hopefully saw the last series with the Flying Plum fake TV200, where I failed at the last hurdle because I just needed another 4 or 5 hours really. So I was thinking about that and I was thinking what I should have probably done is built the engine first, got that all fired up, and then worried about all the other ancillaries like brakes and lights and number plates afterwards, and we could have done those while we were riding on the way. So I was thinking that might be the way forward here. Get the important stuff done first and then worry about stickers and number plates and lights and stuff. So I think that is the way that we are going to go with this. Important stuff first. Right, the engine. Where to start? So before we do that, I just want to go through my philosophy with these machines that I've been doing again. Because we don't just want to go online and buy all new shiny modern parts for these things, because a lot of these original parts are a damn sight better quality than the stuff you can buy today. E.g. this rear hub bearing that came out of here, it might be 60 years old, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all, and it's a damn sight better quality than anything you could buy that's made today. So that is my philosophy on this build anyway, to use as many original parts as possible. Obviously it's going to need a new oil seal, because that will be as hard as a gang of skinhead girls in the 1980s. That's not the oil seal box, is it? This has got all the badges and stickers in it. Ooh. So I just thought I'd just quickly fit this rear frame badge, because I really like these rear frame badges. I love the font on these Series 3. I think LIs and TVs are the only ones that had these, aren't they? This style anyway. But yeah, I really like this. And when I was there, I thought I'd just, because I'm here, just fit the number plate. So that's practically finished there. And also, yeah, I thought because I was on the frame loop, I might as well just fit this new lock for the toolbox as well. Yeah, we won't be needing those. People that lock their toolboxes on Lambrettas are weirdos. And talking of really important stuff, you won't Adam and believe it, but I've only gone and found an original TDL seat cover, albeit a little bit fucked, but obviously in keeping with the rest of the scooter. But what are the chances? But let me show you, I mean, this is the difference between the UK and Italy. So Italy, what's happened is, you know, it's got a bit of surface rust, the frame has, but the seat is completely disintegrated with the heat and sun, and just completely fallen to bits. It's still got the rivets on there, but the actual material has completely rotted away or shrunk and perished. And this is what happens in the UK. So the cover's nice and moist, but the frame has absolutely rotted away. Completely fucked. But, you know, it's good for me. So we got the seat cover off the frame without any problems at all, because let's face it, you'd have to be a complete idiot to have any problems getting a cover off a frame, wouldn't you? Look at that over there, look! Anyway, we need to clean this up now, really, and moisturise it, because it is really, really dry and cracky. But that brings me on to another subject, actually. After that, we did a similar thing with the Series 2 old 60s seat cover that had gone dry. And straight after posting that video, my mate in Brighton, Nicky, texted me and said, loving the videos, Nobby. Great, obviously. But this is the year 2025, mate. You can't say dry as a nun's chuff. This isn't 1975. And I did go away and think about that, and she's probably right. This is 2025. You can't say dry as a nun's chuff anymore. It's not the done thing. So you'll never hear me say dry as a nun's chuff on this channel again, and I apologise. But anyway, this is really dry, and we do need to moisturise it because it's as tight as a... Okay, that's the old seat cover back on. I was so lucky to find a cover for this base. I can't believe it. But I've absolutely soaked that in baby oil to moisturise this old hard vinyl. I've really worked it in there. I'll probably do it again as well, but it's definitely started softening up already. It's actually quite a nice seat shape, actually. A lot of these aftermarket ones were a bit square and a bit shapeless. This one's actually quite nice. I would have treated the frame if I was restoring this, but obviously, you know, being as it is, and the time scale, I've just bunged it on the frame without doing any work to the frame whatsoever. But I think I'm gonna phone up Al now and book it in for a dyno, because we oh shit, the engine, fuck it, damn you ADHD, damn you. Right, so where was I? Original bearing, but we've got to fit a new oil seal in there. Oh, there's them blooming stickers. I was looking for them. And while I'm on the rear end, I thought I'd have a go at drilling these rear light lens screws out that snapped off.
which, and anyone who's tried this before will know this is pretty much mission impossible because they're only 4mm and you've got to get the drill right. You've got to get it millimetre perfect, basically. And that's not really my forte. Would you Adam and Eve it? I've actually done one. See if I can do the other one. Only blimmin' gone and done it, ain't I? This tap is so dinky, I haven't even got a handle for it. I have got an old rear light lens for one of these CEV lights, but it's missing the number plate window. But I have got an old welding mask window that I'm just going to cut to size. And done. I think the rear reflector's seen better days, but you never know, we might be able to save that. Hang on. I don't like to brag about my skill set, but you know, I think I did a pretty good job there. There's a little bit of deep surface rust on this front wheel rim, so we're going to need to address that. So we're going to put the rear rim onto the front wheel. They just needed a bit of a wire wheel and some red oxide, of course. I'm going to use a BGM Classic, obviously, because they are the bollocks, and Michelin Air Stop. But on the rear, we are going to go tubeless. And I know I'm stupid, but I'm not a complete idiot, and I do know that these are much safer than tubed. I just like to use the original bits on these builds, because that's the sort of SP that I'm going for, just to get a bike on the road with all its as original as I can, and I just haven't had a chance to put a tubeless on any bikes I've done yet, but this is a perfect opportunity. And obviously they're not completely foolproof tubeless. They get punches and blowouts, but they just don't get them as bad as tubes, so yeah, it'll definitely be one less thing to worry about. Right, that's the tubed front tyre done. I use the original Nylox because I'm not made of fucking money, you know. Jesus. No, I mean, they only hold the two halves together. They don't hold it to the bike. So as long as you've got them on at the right torque. Anyway, sorry, I digress. I haven't done tubeless tyre, sorry, for a while. So this could be fun. And I've never used these type of rims before either, all these tyres. So, and it doesn't look like it's going to fit, but yeah. So I might struggle a bit here. So have fun watching me. That was scarily easy, actually. I'm worried that I've done something wrong or it's the wrong size, because that went on remarkably easy. Yeah. I think that, from what I remember, the trick was loads of washing up liquid all around the rims, and you definitely need these shortened ones on Lambretta rims just to get in that space. But I can't give you any more tips, because I just sort of brute forced and ignoranced it on there, and it went on fairly easy. Let's see if I can get it to pump up though. Well, I'm shocked. That was really, really easy. I don't know what everyone's moaning about. Yeah, that tyre just went on really easy. I did a little tiny chip out of the inside of the rim just by being an animal. I could have been a bit carefuler, but yeah, that was a piece of piss. So FA Italia tubeless rims, and what's this? Mitas MC20 tyres. They go together really easily. But if you are going to get some tubeless FA Italia rims, I got these from Glasgow Lambretta, their website, not their eBay page, because it was cheaper on their website. But they were the cheapest I could find in the whole internet. The tyres came from Torbay Lambretta. They were good price as well. So yeah, what a shocker. But that's both the tyres done. I really, really hope that these aren't seized in there, because that's another absolute nightmare to drill those out. So I really hope the link bolts are going to come out easy. Let's see. Right, that wasn't actually too bad. The bolts came out all right. One of the links was a bit seized in there, but came out in the end. But I have got a bit of a problem here, because I haven't ordered any of those. That's not something I thought I was going to see. So I'm just going to have to look in my spares and hope that maybe I've got a spare set of links or something, but I doubt it very much if I've got some of those bushes. And also, both of these springs were completely seized into their top hat, so I've got to get them out. because I'm going to put progressive springs in there. So yeah, usual worn bottom buffers. But yeah, just have a look if I can find some of those. I've only bloody found some, haven't I? I don't ever remember buying those, but there they are. That's handy. Hopefully those nylon ones will knock out and these steel ones will go in. Well, I'm hoping that they're the right size. So like I said, I've no idea. Well, there's only one way to find out. Right, that's the old one out. It just sort of fell out. As you can see, a tad worn. I guess you're supposed to press these in, but I don't have a press, so let's see how that's going to work with the hammer. Copper and hide hammer, obviously. Oh. Well, a lot easier than I thought. Excellent. Right, managed to get the old shafts out, the old springs, although they were rusted onto them. I did manage to break one of the top hats, but I think that should still be okay. Everything's cleaned up. Well, quick clean up, and I do mean quick. New progressive springs going in, new buffers, and of course we just put in these steel link bushes, which don't seem like a great idea to me, but that's all I've got. So front hub's not looking too bad neither. I think just a quick re-grease to the bearings and wet and dry off this surface. Just clean it up a bit with a wire brush, and I think she'll be good to go. Yeah, forget what I just said. I ended up completely rebuilding. I took it apart to re-grease it, and one of the shoes was seized, well, stiff, and then when I started moving it, it stopped moving. So I ended up taking the whole lot apart, redoing it completely, but they are all good and free now. So that can go back together. right headset. So after the drama stripping it apart, I put a wanted post out on Facebook for a gear change housing. I forgot what it was then. A gear change housing. And weirdly enough, my riding partner, one of my riding partners, back from the French Euro, Dean Stradlin, messaged me and he said, well, I would have taken any gear change housing, but he specifically had a spare Li early Series 3 one with the little slots. And because it had a little bit of work done underneath it and there's a few little nicks in it and stuff, it's not A1 condition, but perfect for this. He said I could just have it, which is like much appreciated, mate. That's really helped me out. And I know what I'm just about to say, you're going to be thinking, oh yeah, he's just giving you some free stuff, so you're going to big him up. But just have a search on Facebook for Dean Stradlin and look at the work that he does on engine cases, headsets, cast alley stuff, and frame jigging and stuff. Just have a look at his stuff. Don't take my word for it. It's next level shit. Well, it's not shit. It's next level stuff. If you're like anally retentive and you want like factory standard stuff, well, better than factory, just have a look at his stuff. So, throttle tube. I thought I'd save myself a few quid and order one of those cheaper, nasty ones from India that takes about 10 days to get here. And like a blimmin' wizard sleeve. I think it's for a Series 1 and a Series 2. So I had to quickly order one from Torbay Lambretta. Again, kudos for them for sending them out so quick. So that's perfect. But they sent out two. And I thought, oh, bargain, I've got a free one. But no, I've accidentally pressed two when I ordered them. So now I've got three. So that's saved me a load of money, hasn't it? So that didn't take very long or anything, only about an hour. It looked like, well, this is a cheapy Indian GP Speedo with an Li, or cheapy Li face on it. But I went to put it in and it looks like someone has broken the original Speedo with a hammer or something and they've dented in the corners and bent them over. So I had to get the finger sander out and grind all that out to make the lens fit properly. And then, of course, the Indian Speedo was a little bit larger and I had to grind the actual case of the Speedo down. So that's a good hour that I could have spent on something way more important. Slap it on there. You can never have too much lubrication, I always say. Before, after. How posh is that? I'm going to try and get these broken Horncast little studs out by using the old weld the washer onto the broken stud and try and get it off with a pair of mole grips, because trying to drill and tap these is a real pain in the ass. Well, that's one out. The other one is not playing ball, so I'm going to have to drill that one out. Right, you'll have to bear with me here because I'm trying to hold the camera with one hand and everything else with the other. So I've put these little extended threaded bars in instead of the normal screws, because I'm going to put a rack on the rear of these shields. And this is the one off the Series 2, obviously. Hang on. That's difficult looking at two things at once. Clearly doesn't fit, but I think hang on, and on the bottom I think I can just turn those tags, cut them off and turn them round, and that might well fit in there, but it's obviously too wide, so I think I'm going to have to cut it completely apart and shorten it as well as turn those tags round. But not too much work. On the subject of the bottles of alcohol that I was going to put on here instead of the Castrol bottle, I was going to put a Kraken and a Jack Daniels as well, but looking at it, I think it's going to be really difficult to put a round bottle and, well, hold it to any sort of safe degree, because it's just going to end up spinning round and then falling out of its slot. So I think definitely a square bottle or rectangular bottle is definitely the way to go. So I think I might just put the Jack Daniels bottle in there and not bother with two. So basically that, yeah, I know one bottle's not quite as impressive as having a little two bottle lineup with a bottle of Kraken as well, but I don't think a round bottle's going to work without some major work, and I haven't really got time. Well, I'll get everything else sorted first, and then if I do have time, I can do a two bottle jobby. But it looks all right. Well, that's it. It hasn't really got the sort of presence that I was really looking for, but like I said, I think it needs two bottles side by side, doesn't it? But if I get time, but that's it for now. Look at this bargain from Scooter Restorations. A set of plastic runners for £3 blimmin' quid. I mean, they're not the best of quality, but they'll definitely do for this one. It's a real shame about this rip in the corner of this seat, and it's really been bugging me because it's unsightly. So I think we really need to repair that professionally, and that's why I bought Gorilla Tape and not that cheap and nasty stuff you buy from the corner shop. No expense spared here at Team Pacemaker. There, it's as good as old. Right, we're off to see Peter the Polish Polisher, and I'm not even joking. This is a really cool little yard he's in here. There's loads of interesting stuff down here. Old Morris Minor Traveller, obviously, rotting away. Old 80s Cavalier and a couple of other Moggy Minors just rotting away. You can't park there, mate. And that is an incredibly rare Sunbeam Rapier. Rover SD1 at the back there. Look at that from Peter the Polish Polisher. Triple plate chrome. And obviously these are my original bits that have just been flash synced. Little bit pitted than you would normally expect, but you know, what can you do? But that's going to look lovely. But will it get me home? Headlight all back together with its original reflector. Right, that's the body pretty much done. So we're getting there. Right, the engine, the bit you've all been waiting for, probably. Sorry if this bit's a little bit disjointed and a bit overdubby, but I came in on Monday, yesterday, and the guy next door usually plays Capital FM and 80s hits sort of radio station. Usually quite quiet, but he must have got his end away at the weekend because he was full blast yesterday. We had all the classics, Toto, Africa, China in Your Hands by T'Pau, Roachford, Lock, Stock, the fucking lot, at full blast. So I couldn't, I could have gone round there and said, "Oh mate, you couldn't just turn the music down, could you? I'm trying to make a YouTube video next door." But he probably would have been all right about that, but I just didn't have the bottle to say that. So like every true Englishman, I just suffered in silence, and I thought I would just film this and then overdub it afterwards, because I can't speak over any of this because of the noise coming through the walls. So yeah, apologies about that. But anyway,
We better get on with it, haven't we? Go on then. Oh, hang on. Do that again, sorry. I didn't have your head in it. That's it. Go on then. Yeah.
There you go, mate.
Another superb job by Glenn at the Vapor Blasters. Drive side bearing going in. Halite washer going in next. Then coming straight out again because it's shite and actually the wrong size from this cheap and nasty gasket set. So yeah, watch out for that because that drive side seal plate wouldn't have, well, sealed with that on there. That's how it should fit, obviously, nice and snug in the bearing. Right, now something that I bought myself at Christmas, for a Christmas present obviously, that I've wanted since I was knee-high to a teenager. Because back in the day, brake shoes were remade brake shoes were shite, and they're all over the place. It took ages to wear them in, but maybe they're not so bad these days. But I've always wanted one of these, and now I get a chance to use it. These riveted crown wheel rear sprockets are, because basically it's only those rivets holding this part, the clutch part, to the chain part. So I usually swap them out, but I haven't got another one, so I think I'm going to weld it up. I think I'm going to just put some plug welds in here, and then just a few little dobs of weld on here, because I don't think that interferes with anything. And then just grind it off. It's probably the only thing I can do, because I can't weld anywhere else, and I haven't got another crown wheel, so when I'm at it I might just beef this up by putting a couple of dobs of weld on there to beef that up, although it looks pretty good nick actually. But still, belt and braces. Right, it's that time, the business end, the top end. So, you know, in the Series 2 series where I bought that Gori kit and opened the box and there was an important part missing, and I couldn't get that part anywhere, and ended up driving all the way to Cambridge to buy a Mugello kit to put on an engine that I'd spec'd for the Gori kit, which turned out not to be a great combo. And then I said at the beginning of this series I was going to use that Gori kit. Well, I'm not. I went online a few weeks ago to see what sort of gearing and exhaust combos people were using with that cast iron Gori kit. And people were talking about this new Gori kit that's just come out. And I thought that would make a way better
top end to put on this engine, because no one's really done a review on it yet, or there's not much info about it at all, and it looks like a blimming good kit. And B, it'll go a lot quicker, well, hopefully, than the cast iron Gori kit that I bought, because that was just like a sort of stage 4 sort of 200 sort of speed, whereas this looks a bit more out there. Actually, let's do a proper unveiling of this, shall we? Okay, the 190/200 aluminium Gori cylinder kit. Obviously it didn't come like that. I've undone the box because that last Gori kit I had for about a month, and I didn't open it till the last minute, and there was bits missing. So obviously the first thing I did with this one is get the box open and make sure everything was there. So first off, lovely inlet they give you with it. Obviously I won't be using that because that would be way too easy. Second thing, notice this got a Dykes top piston ring, which I never thought was a great idea. And I've certainly never had a Lambretta kit with a Dykes piston ring before. But, you know, what do I know? Gori obviously know way more about tuning and reliability than I do. So, and the second weirdness is this, well, not only the offset window, but the piston skirt, the cut on that piston skirt. I don't really understand what's going on there, but maybe that'll all become clear once I get it on the engine and see the piston move past the inlet window. Maybe that'll make more sense then, but I've no idea. And more weirdness, obviously piston port kit. Nice holage, nice holage around the exhaust port there for loads of different exhaust combos. Huge exhaust port, big old smiley face, and loads of transfers. But the weirdest thing, hang on, and I think I might need a torch for this. And I'm trying to do this with 2 pairs of hands, so bear with. If you look, stop doing that, right. If you look down the engine stud hole, you'll see that it comes out in the transfer ports, which, first of all, I thought, oh, I don't believe it. They've gone through into the barrel studs, but when you turn it over, there's actually a recess. Hang on, I can't see that. There's a recess on that stud, and you get a little O-ring in the kit that obviously seals it. Yeah, I've definitely never, ever seen anything like that before. On a Lambretta manufacturer's kit anyway. So that's, yeah, it all looks pretty well made. That's the barrel. But then I noticed, and I read the instructions, you know, I've broken that golden rule. I read the instructions because I wanted to see what was going on here. But you get 3 base gaskets and you get a 1mm aluminium packer, and I thought, well, maybe that's for a different crank or something, but no, that is for a standard 58mm stroke crank, that they give you this packer. And that, well, why? Or why would you have a separate packer and 2 paper gaskets either side? That's, yeah, not the best idea in the world. But again, they know more about performance and reliability than I do, so. And I was going to say that was my first impression review of the Gori kit out of the box, but I'll just add to that. I just thought I'd try the barrel onto the engine casing, just to make sure it fits and everything. And you see that gap down there between the barrel and the engine case. It won't fully go home. So I took it, I thought, what the f am I doing wrong? But it's catching. Can you see that? It's just catching there at the bottom, there, and on the other side, where the threads are, right at the bottom of this stud. And these are thin studs. A lot of kits, you get the fat style studs. And there's no way that this barrel would have fitted on there if it had, if this engine had the fat style studs. It's only because it's got a bit of thread at the bottom of them. So these studs are obviously fully home into the main case. There's always a little bit showing, but I think I've got to take a file to this and fettle the openings of these holes to make this fit on the crankcase, which you know, isn't ideal, but it is what it is. That's better. To be honest, it didn't take a great deal of filing to get that off, but still, that's not ideal, especially if you're like an inexperienced, not like myself, of course. If you're fitting a kit for the first time, having to do that, but yeah, not a good start. I just thought I'd loosely put this, I put the piston on with no rings, and I've just loosely put the barrel on there with the packer and the 2 gaskets, just to see if this piston is actually doing piston port stuff. And I still don't sort of, hang on. Still don't really understand that cut in the piston skirt. But like I said, I'm sure they've done it for a reason. But 'tis weird. And I've just done the squish like really roughly, because I've only got a couple of bolts in there. They're not done up, you know, ultra tight, and there's no piston rings in there, or there's no sealant or anything on it. So it really is just a rough guide, just because I wanted to see if I've got to buy any packers or anything. And it is quite a lot. It looks like 1.5 mil squish at the moment. But I looked on the instructions and, oh no, hang on, that's not instructions. That's my fixed penalty charge for going on the street the wrong way. Here's the instructions. And I know this, you know, obviously I'm going to have my Scooter Boy card taken away from me for for reading the instructions, but this was a bit of an unknown, lads, and anyway, it does say squish should be 1.4 to 1.5 on a 58mm stroke, which is a lot. Even more so on a 60 for some reason. 1.7 max, which is, well, to me that's huge. At the moment it's sort of within their specs, but I would like to get that down a bit if I'm honest. Right, piston rings on, packer, gaskets, circlips. So bit of gearbox oil, because it's closest. Right, the head doesn't have a head gasket on this one. I suppose it's got the recess, so that just goes straight on. Oh yeah, don't forget the O-ring. Fuck, I nearly forgot that then. Damn. Jeepers, that really doesn't look very tight on that thread, on that stud. Oh well, like I said, what do I know? Unfortunately, that's reading 1.1, which would be a little bit dodgy at the best of times. But that it says the kit wants 1.4 to 1.5, and we are going a long way, and I want to be quite conservative. So if this was a TS1 that was wanging round town, then maybe, but no, I think I'll have to put one of these other gaskets on, which isn't ideal. 3 paper base gaskets is not ideal for reliability, but that's what I'm going to have to do. Well, that says 1.3 this time, so that's close enough, isn't it? So, Mark, what inlet and carb are you going to be using then on this Gori kit? Means you think you're so much cleverer than Gori, you don't want to use their lovely inlet they've supplied with the kit. And I'm going to be using the good oldie worldy BHPH solid mount. Well, there's pros and cons to this, and the pros are mainly that you can pick them up really cheap compared to the new rubber mounted Delautos, because they've kind of gone out of fashion, because someone on the internet pointed out that when you're racing around the track on your 250 TS1 30 brake horsepower monster, the fuel froths up because of the vibrations on these solid mounts. But obviously, we're just touring on A roads on a small block, so I don't think that's going to be an issue whatsoever. And the other pro is that, I mean, we've all had problems with the rubber mounts, haven't we? We've all had a split rubber mount. It's just another thing to go wrong. And with these solid mounts, you eliminate that problem and carrying extra spares and stuff. So those are the pros. The cons are, as you saw in the Belgium Flying Plum series, you don't really know what you're getting with second-hand carbs. You don't know the history of them or anything. So they could be worn out or blocked up. All I would say is, because I bought this locally, so I actually went round and had a look at it, and it seemed like it's had little usage. So, and it had all the jetting that I needed in it, actually, apart from the pilot jet. So, yeah, as long as you check them out first, you shouldn't hopefully have any problems. So anyway, that's the way, that's the route I'm going anyway. So my solid mount inlet's got a bit of a leak. Oh, Mark, if you'd have used the Gori one, you wouldn't have got that. Shut up. The rest of it looks great, so just that inlet to sort out. Seems to be holding nicely now. Die, you bastard, die. Yeah, the first thing that I thought when I opened the box to that kit was gonna need a bigger clutch. So I've got this Reed Speed 5-plate. I've used them before, so better the devil you know. Although I am going to use MB clutch springs because just because. So hang on, let's put them on the side. I've got to get this old 4-plate because I was just going to use a standard 4-plate with MB springs in it, but I think this is going to need, well, belt and braces. It might need a little bit extra, so I think the Reed Speed 5-plate will cover all bases. Right, so ignition. Obviously, this has been a little bit of a bone of contention over the last couple of videos, whatever that means. So with that in mind, I'm going to be using the BGM. And I like to give people a second chance always. But in BGM's case, it's probably a third or fourth, possibly even fifth chance for me. So I'm going to be... This is the stator that I changed on the M25 when it let me down on the way to Belgium last year. So I'm going to be fitting one of the new BGM Super Duper, apparently, orange pickups that never ever let anyone down ever. So I'm going to be changing that myself, which I've never actually done before. So that should be fun. And also, a lot of people suggested that I fit the old Scootronics external pickup as well. So we'll be doing that as a backup, along with several other backups as well. So let's get into that now. So I'll just test the old one against the new one. The old one 9.924 and the new Super Duper Orange 0.093. So only a little bit of difference then. So now that's all professionally soldered on there by my own fair hands, we'll just put a dab of araldite on these wires just to stop them vibrating and coming loose. So that's the new Super Duper Pro BGM orange pickup fitted to this BGM stator. So we shouldn't have any problems with this now whatsoever ever again, and that should be absolutely fine. And the flywheel I'm using on this is one that I bought flipping ages ago. And I can't remember if this is what they refer to as the mid-weight or the light and flywheel. I can't remember. It looks a bit light actually, doesn't it? Which isn't ideal. I would, on the touring machines, I like to use the heavy seal flywheels. It gives them, I don't know, seems to give the engine a bit more momentum and a bit more torque. So this isn't ideally what I'd want, but it's what I've got because, like I said, I bought it ages ago and it's been hanging around and I really want to use it up. So that's what I'll be using. And I expect you thinking, why are you persevering with this traditional style flywheels and stators that keep letting you down? And why not go on to the new Super Duper, very expensive vape and other systems? And it's basically because I've got all this stuff still. So I really want to use it up. I can't just bin it all and then go out and spend £500 on an ignition system when I've got bits here already in the workshop to use. So that is why I'm persevering with traditional stuff. Right, gearbox and ting. What are you doing here, Mark? Well, I'm glad you asked that because I'm just about to tell you. We're going to be using 16.2 front, 46 rear on this. Well, you would think this LI125 has got an LI125 gearbox, wouldn't you? But these later Series 3 Li125s were fitted with the early Pacemaker gearbox that, well, it's said has got a weak third gear, and later on they beefed it up when they put it into the Pacemaker 150. But I measured this. Obviously, I'm an idiot and I didn't film it, but I did measure the third gear on this, and this is the later, stronger gearbox, which is handy. So anyway, that's the gearing and sprockets I'll be using. A few bits I did off camera. I fitted all the original rezinked bits, the gear, swivel, etc. Or they're not rezinked, they're new. And I also fitted the silent blocks, which are second-hand ones. I just found them in a box of bits. I've taken them off something, but they are absolutely, well, they look perfectly fine to use. And you know the drill, never, ever forget the nipple. £2.99 from Lidl. Bargain. Just a bit of cowling modification to do to get this to run a bit cooler. And I've decided to fit, after a few people had said about it, one of the Scootronics external pickups as well. So when the if the Pro Super Duper BGM pickup gives up the ghost, it'll just be a simple job of switching over to this external pickup, and hopefully that will get me on my way, like I say, as a plan B. It's a little bit of a faff to fix. You've got to drill and tap the flywheel and stuff, and I'm sure it'd be better with two screws holding it in place, wouldn't it? Because that can potentially move about. Anyway, yeah, I'll give that a go. Well, hopefully I won't need to give it a go, but if I do, it's there. Right, exciting times. Well, if you're a sad mofo. But it's almost time to, well, no, it's not almost time, it is time to fit this back in the frame. Someone put in the comments that they saw me struggling putting the engine in last time and said that I should fit the shocker
and put it on the engine and fit the engine in like that. It's a lot easier, and I've never tried that before, so I think I'm going to have a go at that. But yeah, watch me struggle, because I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but if you remember, the week before the Euro was the hottest week of the whole year, and it is absolutely sweltering. So yeah, watch me struggle. Right, that's the rear hub torqued up. Damn, it's hot. That's the rear hub torqued up. Engine bolts all done up, shocker done up. Putting the rear shocker on when you're fitting the engine is definitely the way to go. That was so much easier. I can't believe I've never tried that before, or even thought of it before. What with me being so clever and everything. So yeah, that's the way to do it, said someone once. Okay, it's Monday morning. So we've got 3 days left, 3 days till the dyno, 4 days till I have to leave. So we're sort of on course. As you probably just saw, the engine went in Friday. And of those 3 days, obviously, I've got to go to work. So I'm just coming in really early in the morning and going home late at night. So this morning I came in really early and did a few bits off camera. So I got it cabled up. That went surprisingly smoothly, and I've actually got a lovely clutch. First time of asking, which is always a bit of a worry, putting those 5 plates into a 4-plate basket, because yeah, well, you can get loads of issues where they're not quite fully engaging, or they drag. But bits I've got to do now. So I've got the CDI on, but I haven't wired anything up. So this is the next thing I'll do right now, is get it all wired up and put the carb on. I've got to tighten the flywheel up. I mustn't forget to do that. And yeah, we can give it the first start. Right, wiring. There honestly isn't any other system in the world that's more simple than Lambretta wiring. But I have got several different things going on here. So this state before was in a Wazzle regulator. I've got the original wiring loom, 6 volt and coil, and this BGM little regulator that I can't remember how they work. But pinky is brake light, so that's got to have a permanent live feed. The purple and brown are lives going up to the headset to make all the lights work. Green is always the ignition cut out and power, so I think that just loops back to that green that then goes into the coil or CDI. White, red and green all go to the CDI. That leaves black that's actually white underneath the black, but the black is an earth, and the thick yellow is power to the regulator and the lights and everything. I'm not sure what that second yellow is. The second yellow was going into the Wasil regulator, but I don't know what to do with it on this one. I think I'll probably just leave it off. Leave it off for the minute and see what happens. Oh, and that extra red is obviously the external pickup. Right then, I've got me power going up to the headset, coming out the stator and going into the reg, then going up to the headset. Got me earthed, the stator's earthed out and the reg's earthed out. And everything's plugged into the CDI's earthed. So we should have a spark if I kick this over. Please. No, fuck off. I wonder if that cutout switch is earthing out. Hang on, let's pull that out. Which one is it? Oh, it's that bottom one. Hang on. Right, I just sort of, I don't know, been just messing about with wobbling a few wires, and I've got a different spark plug on an old one that I knew worked, and put the cap back on and cleaned up the cutout switch and stuff, and we have actually got a spark now. Seems to be consistent, but it is a bit yellow. I'd like to see a big fat blue one, but it's kind of jumping about all over the place, isn't it? But it is a spark. So that's one down. It's all these poxy little fuck you up in the right at the end, isn't it? So, what, gearbox, 10-minute job, clutch, 15-minute job, piece of piss. Getting the throttle cable up through that little brass nipple, what, an hour and a half? Fucking nightmare.
Right, before the first start up, and I know this is my longest video to date and you've been watching for a while, but bear with, because this is where it all sort of starts to come together and you get your payoff. Trust me, I've watched the video, so I know this is where it gets good. So just bear with me for 30 seconds while I just say,
thank you to a few people who have done the old buy me a coffee. That's why I'm holding all the coffees, because people have bought me a coffee. In fact, some people have bought me more than one coffee. Some people have been really generous, and with your super thanks as well. So, in fact, there's so many that I can't. If I listed them, then this would be a very boring segment. So I'm just going to put some around me on the screen as I'm reading off other people. So the super thanks. Got Jim Hutton. I haven't got my glasses. Jim Hutton, Phil Whitewell, Paul Bevan, Michael Orr, Paul H, someone's name who's someone, Dylan White, Malcolm Horton, who's apparently is a GTS bum bandit, whatever that means, Mike Crawwell, and Paul Jono Johnson. Sorry if I mispronounce any of those. I can't see them, I haven't got my glasses. But yeah, much appreciated to all of you, and obviously much appreciated to anyone who's watching as well, who's so tight that they haven't bothered to buy me a coffee. Only joking, or am I? But yeah, if you can't be asked to buy me a coffee, then just subscribe, because you know this is the trade-off. You see, you subscribe, that inflates my ego, and then my ego drives me on to make more content, and that's the trade that we're making here. So yeah, if you haven't done that, then do it. But yeah, back to the first start anyway. Anyway, I thought I had some oil in stock. I thought this was ST90, and I soaked my clutch plates in it and everything. And then I just went to fill the gearbox on Friday, and turns out it's actually Vespa gear oil, SAE 30. And I've no idea where that came from, but I soaked my clutch plates in it. So if anything goes wrong, it's going to be Vespa's fault. But I did order last minute, like literally early Friday afternoon, from Torbay Lambretta again, which are turning out to be one of my best Lambretta dealers at the moment, because they got this to me by Saturday morning. So flipping excellent. So we can actually go ahead and give this a first start. Right. We've got sparkage of sorts. We've got fuel now. We've definitely got compression, because I just gave it a little quick kick over, and yeah, it's got compression. So it should start. I've got a good feeling about this, so I reckon 5-6 kicks. That's how confident I am. I feel like this one wants to go though, do you know what I mean? Right. Oh, Jesus. Oh my. That's another Mugello, isn't it? Right. Right, that's the internal state of timing thing done. That's a technical term. I'm now going to set the external Scootronics one, which should be a hell of a lot easier. Okay, well, Scootronics external pickup. What a piece of piss that was to fit. But also incredibly dangerous because that trigger is like spinning round at 2,000 revs per minute, and you've got a little Allen key trying to just tighten those up. And as you saw, it wanged it out of my hand, so yeah, I like it. Dangerous. Right up my alley. Just a footnote on that Scootronics external pickup system. About half an hour after I filmed that, I just completely destroyed that entire system. I was just giving it a load of beans, really giving it a good old rev just to clean it up to see if there's any splutters or anything. And yeah, I just hear this sort of bang, bang, bang noise. And what had happened was the the trigger had slipped in its elongated hole, smashed into the pickup and completely smashed that to bits, and then gouged all the inside of the flywheel cowl. It's entirely my fault because I fitted it, so I can't really blame anyone else. But I thought not only thought I'd screwed it down tightly, but I'd also put thread lock on it as well to make sure it didn't come loose. So I'm not quite sure what happened there, but anyway, yeah, it completely destroyed itself. So I mean, if it were me, and of course I'm the oracle of everything engineering, but if it was me, I would have had the elongated hole just to set the trigger gap up, and then a second hole so that it could be screwed permanently in place and couldn't move. Because I mean, an elongated hole on a rectangular bit of steel with one screw probably isn't the best idea anyway. But what do I know? Anyway, that's what happened to the Scootronics external pickup. Completely destroyed before I'd even left the workshop. In case that comes into play in any kind of future event. You bastards. You bastards. You knew this was round the wrong way, didn't you? You didn't say anything. You let me carry on, getting all smug about my nice zinked and shiny stuff. You didn't say anything about that being round the wrong way, did you? Bastards. So the engine's running. We got all the gears now. We got brakes. I guess we should check to see if there's lights, shouldn't we? So that's the last on our list. Nothing. Cutout switch works though. Right. I tried to have a little tidy up in here before I film this, but it's not happening. So, lights. The last main thing left. The back brake light was seized, so I sprayed loads of WD on it and worked it, and that seems to be going up and down now. I've done the old headlight rim delete and done my own earth wire, because we all know what a terrible idea the earth rim wire is. And that's it really. Let's start it up, see what we've got. I'm hoping this switch is moving quite freely now. Been putting loads of WD on that as well every day, and hopefully that's making contact, so let's go. No horn. Oh, little horn. I heard it. I did hear it. Oh, bugger. Okay, no horn. Oh. Oh, yeah, boy. Not a bad start. Let's have a look if the brake light works. Come on. I don't think it likes having choke. I've only bloody got a brake light as well. Headlights a little bit. It's this switch. Little bit dodgy. I'm gutted we haven't got a horn. That would be the only thing that's not working. Oh, come on, you know you want to. Damn it. Well, I think with a bit of working, that horn will start working. But with a bit of working, that horn will start working. That don't make no sense. You know what I mean? So that's flipping great news. Let's get the headset top back on. Right, 6 AM on the Wednesday. Going for a dyno. Later on today and leaving tomorrow morning, so I guess I should really give this a test ride, shouldn't I? So first test ride. bliss. Lights work. That was a great little test ride. I've got nothing to report really. Gears were all there, no adjustment needed. Clutch was fine, no adjustment needed. Jetting was really good as well. Tiny little flat spot right at the start of the throttle, which I think is the air mixture screw. Shocker's a bit hard. Yeah, the only thing that I needed to do was straighten up the headset. As for the kit, yeah, plenty of oomph there. Well, so I need to do this rack, don't I, and get it to the dyno. And last thing, I've taken the back rack off the Series 2, and obviously it used to be for a Series 3 and I altered it at the last minute to fit a Series 2. So as you can see, that don't work. But I did save the brackets, although I thought, because I got 3, and of course it's the blimmin' one. The one that's missing is the one that I need. So I think I'm just gonna have to cut those ones off and shorten them to fit in these holes. Right, just stopped in at the sign writers and look at that. You couldn't really tell which is the one that's been repaired, can you? Well, And I expect that you are going to go, whoa, he's done a really good job there. But to be honest, that is exactly how I thought it was going to turn out. That was, yeah. Well, in a way, he's done really well doing it exactly how I wanted it. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. They've done bits and bobs in patina paint for me before, and plus they did the original Pacemaker panels and my Super Tune panels, so I know they are the bollocks. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, you cannot tell them apart ish. So that's it with the box, spare wheel and side panels on. Let's just give it a wash and a bit of a polish, and we can do some of those after shots.
So yeah, so you're going from Holyhead to where? Dublin?
Yes, and then trying to get across to Belfast
Right.
in about 5 hours, I think.
Right. Too far off this wide open. This is half throttle. We can probably lean that slightly depending on what clip position you're on. But let's see whether we've cured that whine from the throttle position, and then if we have, I think we're not far off.
Right, I just stopped on the way back from the dyno, and I will keep this really brief because I was doing some editing yesterday and this video is already 4 hours long. And it really needs to get it down to about an hour and a half, so I will keep this whole dyno bit really brief. But this bit that I'm about to say is integral to the story. So the jetting was pretty much bob on, which, trust me bruv, is more luck than judgment. And the stats for this Gori kit are fucking pretty impressive. 20 brake horsepower from a piston port 190 small block off the shelf kit is pretty impressive. And also it's got completely the wrong exhaust on it. It wasn't a great combo in the end when we put it on the dyno. I think Al said it'd be a lot better with a normal JL3 or a taffy pipe or the Gori box pipe. But I'm done with box pipes, and I wanted to keep it standard looking. So anyway, I digress. So out of all the things that I thought I might get wrong with this kit, gearing wasn't one of them, because I always go overboard. I like my tool gearing. I like to hear my scooters purr when I'm cruising, not the engine not being stressed. And I don't mind, having to change to third up the occasional hill. That's just... Anyway, I digress again. What I'm trying to get at is I fucked up on the gearing, basically. And in my defence, there's very little information about this kit and what it kicks out, what the gearing you should have, what pipes, etc. Online. There's no information whatsoever. So I took an educated guess, but it turned out to be not so educated. So I don't know what my final drive is, but anyway, I'm using 1646 sprockets, and when Al looked on the dyno readout, he said that would cruise about 50-55 miles an hour with the current gearing I got. But he said I could it looks like I could go up to 4.8 final drive, which would be on the Pacemaker gearbox would be 1847. So that's quite a jump. That's like 10 miles an hour different cruising speed, which has left me in a bit of a dilemma because I have got to leave at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to catch the 10:30 Hollyport ferry, and I can't go in any earlier. I can't leave or go into work any earlier. I've got to leave at 8 o'clock. So the other alternative is I go into work at 8 o'clock and I totally strip down the engine again, take the clutch out and everything, and change the sprockets to change the final drive ratio, which I don't know what's that, but a couple of hours work, 2, maybe 3 hours, yeah, probably about 2 hours work, which means that I would be leaving. Well, that's gonna make that 270 mile journey to Hollyport quite tight. So, although I would have a higher cruising speed, yeah, it's gonna make it quite tight. So, I mean, the sensible thing would be to leave the gearing that's on there. Now, uncharacteristically, I seem to be running about 4.5 hours late.
No, not yet.
Oh. Say, go direct.
Now do it again.
And lasses,